She blocked my driveway with her golf cart and shouted, "You can't be here. You're trespassing on our HOA land." I just stared at her, standing on the same dirt my grandfather died farming. I didn't say a word, not yet. Karen had that look, sunglasses on at sunset, clipboard in hand like it was a weapon. Two men stood behind her. HOA board members, she claimed. Fake badges clipped to their belts like we were in some low-budget cowboy movie. "You have 30 days to vacate. This land has been annexed by Oak Valley Estates HOA. She barked like she ran the town. I chuckled under my breath. "Lady, you got no idea whose land you're standing on." Her eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" One of her guys stepped forward. "You can laugh all you want, sir, but we've already begun the legal process. This whole area's HOA now. You're squatting. You're lucky we're not calling the cops." I could feel my pulse climbing, but not from fear, from how ridiculous this was. This wasn't just land. This was my ranch. My great-grandfather carved the soil with his bare hands in 1913. I watched him pass down the deed to my dad under a porch light that still flickers every night. And 2 years ago, after my father died, I took over everything. These people had no idea what they were playing with. Karen smirked and turned, posting a bright red paper on my fence gate. "HOA notice, unauthorized structure. Immediate eviction recommended." I didn't tear it down. I just looked at her calm and steady. "You sure you want to do this?" She grinned. "Oh, I'm more than sure." She had no clue. No clue that I wasn't just the owner of this ranch. I was the man who secretly bought the entire Oak Valley subdivision at a bank auction. Last year, land rights and all. But I wasn't going to tell her that yet, because some people need to feel the fall before they understand the height. Viral line. She told me I was trespassing on land I legally owned before her house was even built. The next morning, I woke up to find a tow truck dragging away my truck right off my own land. Karen stood by the road, arms crossed, sipping iced coffee like she was watching a parade. Her little HOA army stood behind her, filming everything. "This is what happens when you ignore HOA regulations," she called out smugly. "We gave you a notice. Now we're enforcing it." I stayed quiet, watching, calculating. The tow driver looked uneasy. He muttered, "I was told this was an abandoned vehicle." "That's a brand new F-250, son," I said calmly. "And it's parked on private land." He hesitated, looking back at Karen. She stepped in fast. "This whole zone falls under Oak Valley Estates now. We filed the paperwork. He doesn't own anything here anymore." A few neighbors peeked out from their patios, whispering and filming. That's when Karen made her next mistake. She walked up to my front gate, my family's ranch gate, and pulled out a huge padlock. "You've got 24 hours to remove yourself," she snapped, latching the lock. "Otherwise, we're changing ownership through emergency HOA enforcement." That's when I walked up to the fence, slow and steady. I looked her dead in the eye, and I said, "You just locked the gate to your own neighborhood." She laughed. "You don't even make sense." I stepped back, pulled out my phone, and played a video I'd been saving. It was a county meeting from last year. The screen showed my face, my voice. "As of today, I'm officially purchasing all undeveloped parcels surrounding Oak Valley, including shared access roads. HOA usage will require permission from the landowner." Karen's smile faltered. One of her board members leaned over and whispered, "Wait, is this real?" I turned to them. "I own this land. Every gravel road you use to get to your house, the community garden, that walking path your kids use. It all runs through my property." I let that sit for a moment. Then I added, "So when you locked that gate, Karen, you just locked yourself in." Her face dropped. Viral line. She tried to shut me out, but she didn't realize the fence was hers, not mine. Karen didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. Then, like clockwork, her rage clicked back into place. "This is fraud," she shouted, yanking at the lock like she could undo her own mess. "You can't just buy the roads. That's illegal. I'll sue you. I will sue you." I leaned against the fence, calm as ever. "Sue me for owning land." "I legally purchased through your bank's foreclosure file?" She stopped cold, because that part hadn't hit her yet. "Oh yeah," I said, lowering my voice so just the board members could hear. "Your HOA fell behind on road maintenance taxes last year. You missed the lien notices. I bought it all for pennies. Even the drainage easement." One of the board members, older guy with a deep tan and a Bluetooth earpiece, looked like he'd seen a ghost. You're bluffing. I smiled. Go call the county records office. Ask for parcel number 1884B, then check whose name it's under. He fumbled with his phone, stepping away. Karen was shaking now. You're harassing us. This is harassment. You can't hold us hostage on our own block. Oh, I'm not holding anyone. You're free to leave. I pointed at the side trail, barely visible through the trees. There's an old maintenance path that exits through the east woods. It's rough terrain, though. Might scratch those Teslas. Her hands balled into fists. I'll get the sheriff here, she hissed. Right now. I shrugged. Please do. 20 minutes later, 2 squad cars rolled in. Karen practically ran to them. Officer! Arrest him. He's trying to extort the entire HOA. But these weren't city cops. They were county deputies. And the tall one? Deputy Marks? I knew him. He nodded at me as he stepped out. Hey, Judge. Karen blinked. Judge? Deputy Marks turned to her, neutral but firm. Ma'am, this man is a retired federal judge. He's also the current landowner of this area. We've already verified his property claims months ago. Your HOA was notified. Karen's mouth dropped open. No, this can't be. He's just a rancher. He lives in a shack. I smiled, finally done holding back. Yeah, I said. A shack with a courtroom-sized filing cabinet full of your HOA's legal screw-ups. Viral line. She called the cops on me only to find out I trained half the force. Karen backed away like she'd seen a ghost. Her voice cracked. You're lying. This is all fake. This is harassment and intimidation. But Deputy Marks was already pulling up a tablet, tapping through county records. Ma'am, according to these documents, this man purchased all non-residential parcels within a 1-mile radius of Oak Valley Estates. That includes private roads and right-of-way access. It's all legal. Her eyes darted between us. Between the clipboard and her, hands and the digital reality, unraveling right in front of her. You didn't even notify us, she barked. I did, I said coolly. Your HOA president signed for the certified letters twice. I've got both signatures in my files. She was trembling now. Then why didn't you stop me earlier? I took a deep breath, stepping closer, lowering my voice. Because, Karen, sometimes you let people dig their own hole first. Then you show them they were never standing on solid ground. That's when her phone buzzed. And it wasn't just her. The board members' phones started buzzing too. Notifications one after another, emails, voicemails, group chats exploding. Deputy Marks raised an eyebrow. You might want to check that. Karen tapped into her phone and froze. Because someone, one of her own board members, probably, had leaked the county records and the incident with the deputies to the entire Oak Valley Facebook group. The post already had 83 comments. Karen just tried to evict the man who owns the whole neighborhood? So we've been trespassing on his land for years? She locked the gate? This is going to court. She's finished. The board guy with the earpiece looked panicked now. Karen, we need to talk. In private. She spun around, wild-eyed. No, nobody goes anywhere. I run this place. I couldn't help it. I laughed. You don't run anything anymore, I said. You just lost control of a neighborhood you don't even legally stand on. Deputy Marks stepped forward. Ma'am, at this point, if you continue to restrict access, we may have to charge you with unlawful detainment. I suggest you unlock that gate. Karen stood frozen. Her power, her clipboard, her arrogance, it all crumbled right there in the dirt. She fumbled for the keys. The same lock she placed on my gate was now shaking in her hands. Viral line. She tried to lock me out and ended up locking herself out of power. As she unlocked the gate, her hands trembled so hard the keys jingled louder than the wind. Neighbors had started gathering now. First just a few, but then more. Moms with strollers. Retired couples. A teenager on a skateboard, phone out, recording every second. Everyone had heard by now. The woman who claimed she was the HOA had just been exposed by the man she tried to erase. Karen yanked the padlock off and tossed it in the dirt like it burned her. She tried to walk away like nothing happened, but she didn't get far. A woman from the crowd, tall in workout clothes, stepped forward. Her voice was sharp. Karen, is it true? You told us we had right-of-way forever. Karen tried to recover. It's complicated, this man. He ambushed us with fake claims and... I cut her off. Here's the original map your HOA ignored, I said, holding up a laminated document. And here's the lien notice you refused to open. You owe over $63,000 in unpaid access fees. I haven't charged anyone because I wanted to resolve it peacefully. A man stepped up. Wait, you own all this? Even the dog park? I nodded. And the road you used to get there? And the utility easements you installed without permission? People started murmuring. The weight of it was hitting them fast. Karen turned back to the crowd, now flailing. This man is manipulating you all. You think he's a hero? He's a land thief. But then a new voice rang out from behind the crowd. Deep, calm, commanding. He's not just the landowner. He's my brother, and I'm the county assessor. Everyone turned. A tall black man in a suit walked forward holding his ID up. And everything he's told you is documented. Your HOA trespassed, built illegally, and tried to enforce powers it never legally had. Karen's knees nearly buckled. This wasn't just embarrassment now. It was exposure. You threatened to find my brother, lock him out of his land, call the police on him, all while standing on territory you never owned. He continued. Now we're opening an investigation into HOA board fraud. Starting with you. Karen spun to run, but 2 deputies were already walking behind her. Deputy Marks tapped his radio. We're going to need that impersonation report filed. And maybe those video clips too. Karen gasped. You're arresting me. I am the community. I stepped forward one last time. Karen, you were. Until you declared war on the wrong piece of dirt. Viral line. She said she was the HOA, until the law reminded her she wasn't above it. The cuffs clicked around her wrists louder than anyone expected. Karen screamed. This is a mistake. I didn't do anything wrong. You people are insane. He tricked all of you. But nobody moved to help her. Not her board. Not her friends. Not even her husband, who peeked from behind their porch blinds and immediately closed them again. Deputy Marks stayed calm. You're being taken in for impersonating a government official, filing false enforcement notices, and illegal use of public easement without authorization. One of the neighbors filmed it all quietly, carefully until Karen's shrieking was drowned out by the slam of the squad car door. I turned back toward the crowd. Some still looked shocked, others relieved. That tall woman from earlier stepped closer. Sonia, what happens to us now? I mean, are we trespassing just by living here? I shook my head. No, most of you didn't know. I'm not here to make enemies. I just wanted to live in peace. But your HOA leadership pushed this too far. I pulled a small envelope from my back pocket. Inside this, I said, holding it up, is a new agreement. Fair use of shared roads, no more predatory fines, no more surprise notices, and no more bullying from self-appointed tyrants. A few people clapped quietly. One man cheered. Then someone else asked, Why didn't you say anything sooner? I looked down at the dust beneath my boots. Because I thought I could ignore her, I said. But silence lets people like that believe they're invincible. The county assessor, my brother, spoke next. And that's how it always starts. One person pushes too far, nobody pushes back. And then they start thinking they own the people, not just the property. That line hit hard. A man stepped forward with his teenage daughter. You just taught my kid more about justice than a whole school year. I nodded. Then a soft voice piped up behind him. It was the skateboard kid still holding his phone. Mister, he said, what are you going to do with the land now? I smiled. Turn it into something useful, I said. A place where people can breathe free again. Maybe a little less rules and a lot more honesty. Viral line. She tried to build her kingdom on stolen dirt. I just took the land back and gave it back to the people. 3 days passed. The HOA board resigned, every last one of them. They posted a sad little message in the community bulletin. Due to recent revelations regarding land ownership and legal discrepancies, the Oak Valley HOA will be dissolved effective immediately. It was like someone popped a balloon. Silence replaced the tension. No more warning letters. No more your lawn is 3 inches too high fines. No more fear.
Karen's name?
Gone from every sign, every mailbox note, every clipboard. But the damage she did, it lingered. Neighbors came by one after another. Some apologized. Others brought pies, casseroles, even old photos of the neighborhood from before it became a battlefield. One woman, Miss Riley, handed me a worn-out folder. This is my dad's, she said. He farmed here back in the 60s, said your family helped him. When the banks came for his land, I took it with both hands. That night, I sat under the stars where my porch meets the fields. The crickets sang louder now, maybe because no HOA trucks rolled through every hour. Then I heard footsteps. It was the teen boy with the skateboard again, walking this time hands in pockets. "Hey," he said. "My mom said you used to be a judge?" I nodded. "That's right. Why'd you leave?" I stared into the dark horizon. I got tired of watching people like Karen win. I wanted to grow something again. Build something real. Something no one could take from me. He paused. "But you still had to fight." I smiled faintly. "Sometimes you plant peace, but you keep the axe nearby." He nodded slowly. "You think she'll come back?" I shook my head. "She'll try. But next time people will remember." A few seconds passed. Then he said, "I want to help you fix the old barn. If you're okay with that." I looked at him surprised. "You don't owe me anything, son." "I know," he said. "But maybe we owe it to the land." That line stayed with me all night. Viral line. Sometimes the land remembers the truth before the people do. By the end of the week, something had shifted. Not just in the land, but in the people. The same neighbors who once looked at me like a trespasser were now waving from their porches. Kids rode bikes down the newly regraded roads they now knew were kept up by someone who actually cared, not someone pretending to hold power with a clipboard. Miss Riley and a few others started planting wildflowers along the trail. The skateboard kid, his name was Eli, I found out, came every afternoon after school to help rebuild the barn. It wasn't just about wood and nails. It was about taking back something that was always ours, but we'd forgotten how to protect it. One morning I got a letter, not from the HOA. That monster was dead. It was from the sheriff's office. Karen had accepted a plea deal: misdemeanor fraud, impersonating an officer, and unlawful detainment. Community service, permanent ban from serving on any neighborhood or HOA board again, and a public apology posted in the local newspaper. I sat on the porch and read that apology over and over again. I acted out of pride, not principle. I forgot what community truly means. I hope those I hurt can forgive me. Karen M. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I folded the paper and slid it into my old courtroom briefcase, the one I hadn't opened since retirement. Then I closed it and let it stay closed, because some things don't need revisiting. Eli and I painted the last beam of the barn just before sunset. He climbed up, hanging the new wooden sign we carved together. It didn't say private property. It didn't say HOA restricted. It said one word: freedom. He looked down and asked, "What now?" I stared out at the horizon where my land met theirs, and nobody was drawing a line between them anymore. "Now," I said, "now we just live. And remember what it cost to get here, because land isn't just dirt. It's memory. It's sweat. It's truth. And sometimes it's the only thing that keeps power honest." Final viral line. She tried to fence me out, but I was never behind the fence. I was the one holding the keys. The end. Please subscribe my YouTube channel for more stories.